I can't wait to show everybody how to build the Vanguard Starry Night Butterfly. This is going to be amazing. GB1, what's that behind you there, buddy? Oh, really? Nothing. I understand. Yeah, nothing at all. Let me just do one of these little... Ha! Yeah! It's, a can of tomato sauce. GB1, why do you have a can of tomato sauce behind you when we're going to be doing this Van Gogh butterfly? Dinner. Well, in the time that I've been on this time machine, GB1, I've never once seen you create dinner with tomato sauce. But I'm looking forward to tonight's dinner. One moment. Hey everyone, and welcome to Groove Builders, the show where we create together. I'm your host, Disorderly Cone, and my cook over here is GB1. Hey, I'm just saying if the shoe fits. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the Starry Night Butterfly from our friends over at the Moyu Store. And if you haven't checked out these guys yet, you definitely should. They have all kinds of really awesome models on there, and some puzzles too. And no matter what your skill level, I'm sure you'll be able to find something on there just for you. And once you find that special project, just head over to the checkout and use code GROOVE to save yourself a little bit of money and support the channel. All right, Groovers, now this model might look easy, but we still got some questions to answer. Like, what tools come inside this package? What are the tricky bits? And can you pose this thing once it's all built? Groovers, these are great questions. Let's get down to the workbench and build this, while I try to hide this can of soup. Boom! There we have it. All of our pages needed to build our Steampunk Starry Night Butterfly. That's right, only 2 pages. And yeah, they might be photocopied, but that shouldn't hinder us too much. The first thing we're going to be talking about is our head, how to get everything attached and lined up properly. Next, we'll talk about our legs and how to get that wire fed through and looking realistic. Finally, we'll attach our wings, or try to anyway, and see if this whole thing can go together. Alright, I think I have a good understanding of what I'm getting into, but we still need to know what tools we'll need. Timothy?
Another steampunk build? Excellent! The machine-planet Starry Night Steampunk Butterfly is a model with just over 150 hardware parts, and to put them all together successfully, you will need pliers, screwdriver, tweezers, and wire cutters. That robot is suspicious. Check him for a can opener.
I thought about checking him for a can opener, but then I realized he's a giant can opener. Now, as always, these are just our suggestions, and you really don't need anything but, of course, the tools that come inside the package for us to be able to build our butterfly. But having the extra ones around will make everything a lot easier for you. Alright, now we've looked at our instructions and we have all our tools. There's only one thing left for you to do, and that's to press that like and subscribe button. We're currently trying to get to 4,000 subscribers and really could use your help. But no pressure at all, though. You take your time. Oh yeah, it's that red button right there. And don't worry, I got him on lockdown. We don't have to worry about any more vandalization around here. Well, you were definitely going to do something there, buddy. Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And we have all kinds of cool projects coming out in the future, and knowing that you're going to be here makes everything a lot better. All right, Groovers, let's get down to the workbench and build our butterfly. And just like that, we begin our first couple of steps for our butterfly. If you're new here to the show or have never seen one of these kinds of models before, they are a little bit different. Instead of cutting out our pieces like a paper or metal model or attaching them together like Lego bricks, these guys are built like a series of metal kebabs. We start with a simple screw and then add various parts on one by one in order of the instructions. When our metal kebab is complete, we secure it with a nut. We repeat these steps multiple times, adding new parts on to our kebab until eventually it turns into something amazing. In this case, a butterfly. Now that we got the basics of these kinds of models, let's get to the trickier bits of our head.
Like you've seen me struggling so far, the biggest problem I have is orientation. I always try to keep my parts orientated to the instructions, so I don't accidentally put parts on backwards or in the wrong place. Even with simple models like this, it can be easy to get lost at times, especially around the eyes. We're not in a rush here. Take your time and check those instructions frequently to avoid taking things apart. Okay, our head looks pretty good. Let's move on to our legs. Our legs are made of drain parts, wire, and some beads. The first thing we need to do is feed the wires through the drain in the middle and the ends. When done, you should have something that looks like this. Next, grab our beads and by looking at the order in the instructions, place them onto the wire. Lightly bend the ends. This will prevent the beads from slipping as we go around our butterfly. Once all of our beads are in place, we can bend our leg and cut off the extra wire at the foot, making sure just to leave enough so the beads can't escape. Personally, I found after I cut the wire, my leg still had some play. Do your best to make sure the legs are as tight as possible so that we have a better result later. That may sound easy, but our legs are attached by a single screw. If we over tighten this area, the legs will be wobbly and we'll have a strip screw on our hands. Same if we under tighten it, minus the whole strip. So you might have to feel this part out. Speaking of feeling things out, let's move on to our final point, the wings. These little guys right here are by far the most important pieces of our entire build. Made from acrylic, we need to be careful when handling these. The last thing we want is a scratched butterfly. Looking at our wing pieces, we can see that we have 4 panels that make up our Starry Night picture. One side is shiny while the other side has a matte finish. Personally, I chose to display the matte finish on the rear and the shiny on the front. My reasoning for this was lighting for pictures, but it really doesn't matter what side you choose to display. Once you've chosen your side, it's just a matter of inserting these 4 screws. I had to fight with my butterfly a little bit because the middle screw wasn't fully secured. Before clamping everything down, ensure that the gears and pieces on top of our butterfly are in the right place. Otherwise, you'll have some balancing issues. Okay, things are looking pretty good here. Let's go ahead and tighten up our last couple of pieces.
Boom! There we have it, our Starry Night Mechanical Steampunk Butterfly from the Moyu Store. This build was quite easy to put together and very straightforward. Yes, the photocopied instructions can be hard to follow at times with the way that you can't tell some of the colors and details, but for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. Now, there are some things we have to consider. One, it does look great, but the little pieces back here can come loose very easily. Even this little pedal here is already super loose. You definitely want to have a screwdriver nearby if you plan on putting this into any kind of pictures or even trying to display it, just to make sure that everything can be nice and tight and it won't necessarily jostle around. Now, the body piece here, just where the legs attach, is actually the most difficult piece to put together here, and I wonder if I almost put the drain piece upside down, especially when I compare it to some other pictures that I've seen. However, when I look at some of these pictures, it also appears that they have a varying display as well. So it might be one of those cases where if it works best for you, go with it. Now, can I recommend this for builders out there? Absolutely. If you've been looking to get into mechanical models just like this and have been kind of intimidated by the bigger ones we've built here on the show, I think these butterflies are a perfect place to start. There's not a whole lot of pieces, and they're pretty straightforward to put together too, especially because I was able to put this whole thing together in under an hour. And I'm not saying that that's like, a great thing. I'm not saying I'm Speedy Gonzalez when it comes to building. I'm just saying it's that straightforward to build. And if you haven't done these in the past, these guys right here are definitely a great place to start. All right, group builders, I had a really good time building our Starry Night Butterfly with you. And if you guys had a good time, don't forget to press that like button. And if you're new here, hit subscribe as well, as we got all kinds of really cool projects coming out in the future, and I would love to have you there. Until next time, Groovers, keep building. Okay, not gonna keep you away from the whole Bengal tiger, because I think he actually likes butterflies, at least the last time I checked.